It is draft week here in the National Football League, and today we have a special edition of Steelers Talk Live, getting you guys ready for the start of the 2024 NFL Draft for your Pittsburgh Steelers. I want to give a big shout out to all of the real ones tuning in. I know today is a little bit off our normal schedule. We usually go live on Wednesdays at this time. But because of all the stuff going on, all the preparations we need to make for Thursday into this weekend, we decided to do our live show on Monday, and then we're going to be going live again on Thursday as well for the first round of the 2024 NFL Draft. So make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already, because we're going to be having extensive, in-depth Steelers draft coverage all throughout draft week for you guys, and I can't wait to get it going right now, right here on Steelers Talk Live. So on today's show, we're going to be going over the latest draft news and rumors surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers. We got a bunch of stuff to cover today that happened over the weekend, and also today, Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin did have their pre-draft press conference today. Some pretty interesting tidbits from that. Then also later in today's show, my final round one targets for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Going to compile all the names. I got my top 20 players on my big board that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. I'm going to be letting you know which players I'd be happy with, which guys I wouldn't be, all that great stuff. And then also my final Steelers mock draft of the draft season. This will be our 9th mock draft at this point, so thank you to everybody that's been with us the entire draft season. I already see Coop waving his towel. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Coop, how you doing, my friend? It's draft week.
It is draft week, baby. I am super excited. This is some of the best times of the year, man, and I can't wait. More importantly, though, I'm glad that my mom does not reside in Denver because Zach Wilson just got traded to the Broncos.
You're telling me, man. I mean, the Broncos. I was listening to our Broncos host, Matthew Peterson, who's, by the way, our fraudulent Browns host. He was talking about how, oh man, if we're going to get rid of Russell Wilson, why didn't we have a better plan than this? Zach Wilson is the plan?
Are you joking?
It's like we're paying $37 million for Russell Wilson to play against us, and his replacement's going to be Zach Wilson?
Ridiculous.
Are you kidding me? I mean, just absolutely ridiculous, man. So no matter what happens during the NFL draft, we're gonna have you guys covered here at Chat Sports with every single pick, all 7 rounds.
Yes,
all right. So actually, me and Tom Downey, we're gonna be the two main guys on our main telecast. We'll probably actually be simulcasting our main coverage on the main Chat Sports YouTube channel here on Steelers Talk.
But then we'll be live for our pick.
Yeah, but we'll be live for our pick. So make sure you guys click the subscribe button down below there, youtube.com/chatsportstv, because me and Tom Downey, we are the two lead NFL draft analysts here at Chat Sports. We're going to have you covered with live coverage of every single pick, all right? Not just the Steelers picks, but every single team. So make sure you click that subscribe button, not only to Steelers Talk, but also to our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, because we're going to have you guys covered with live coverage of every single pick in this year's NFL Draft. So before we get into today's Steelers content today, a bunch of great stuff coming your way. I want to have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time. Big shout out to Game Time for sponsoring today's edition of Steelers Talk Live. And Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. Coop knows I'm somebody that doesn't like to plan things in advance. I'm very much an in-the-moment, present kind of guy. And if I feel like going to an MLB baseball game or a concert or an NBA basketball game, Coop's going to a Stars game tonight at American Airlines here in Dallas. Whatever the case may be, Game Time is the perfect app to get your tickets because you get the lowest price guarantee, so you don't have to shop around on all these different ticketing apps. Also, they got flash deals right before game time, so whenever you want to go to an event, if you're someone like me that likes to wait last minute, you get even better deals the longer you wait. And we know the Pittsburgh Pirates are playing some pretty good baseball to start off the season. PNC Park has been voted the #1 ballpark in the United States of America in the MLB. It's absolutely gorgeous. Coop and I are going to go watch a game when we come to Pittsburgh to watch a Steelers training camp in Latrobe this year. Can't wait for that. So make sure right now you download Game Time because it's the fastest growing ticketing app in the United States, and it is the only ticketing app on the market that gives you complete peace of mind every time you purchase a ticket. See the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive at the stadium or arena or ballpark, and tickets are sent directly to your phone instead of your email. Yet another great feature that makes using the Game Time app a breeze when you're buying your tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying those tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps. It's right down there in the bottom right of your screen for $20 off. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So let's talk about this for a little bit here and get your answer down there in the chat, because we're going to give some shout-outs here in a second. Who will the Steelers take in round one? Predict it for me, Mr. Coop.
Michael Penix Jr.
No, get out of here with Michael. You just wanted to say Michael Penix.
Did.
You just wanted to say.
I don't. If I had to guess, how about Troy Fautanu?
I like the Troy Fautanu pick, man. It was announced today that some teams have flagged him for injury concerns in his knee.
Yes.
So, I mean, before I was somebody that was like, there's no way he's getting outside the top 15.
But now he might.
But now he might fall to you, and the Pittsburgh Steelers have a history of taking some of these injury-prone guys. We saw it with Darnell Washington and Corey Trice Jr. last year's draft. So it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever if Troy Fautanu, who is very scheme versatile, very good technique in terms of pass protection, he fits kind of what they're looking for, either if you want to put him at left tackle or even at center. I think he'd be a really good center in the National Football League. But I think if you're drafting him, you're probably putting him at left tackle. But I guess we'll have to see on that.
By the way, again, go use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first order at Game Time. When we go to Pittsburgh and we go to PNC, I want to see Paul Skeens in the uniform.
Paul Skeens better be a Pittsburgh Pirate by the time that we go to PNC, man, because every single time that kid throws, Coop and I are it's just electric, man. 100-mile-per-hour stuff with great changeup and curveball. It's just unbelievable, man. And we've got our first Super Chat of the day, and it's Kurgan Cold, one of our Black Diamonds, and he says, the eclipse showed me the season is black and yellow. Sup. Appreciate you, Kurgan
Everybody
Cold.
spam nice.
Everybody spam nice in the chat.
My guy Kurgan. Black Diamond member.
For that 69.
What a legend.
What a legend, Kurgan Cold. It's good to see your face, my friend. I haven't seen you in our live shows here as of late, but man, it's draft week. Kurgan Cold showing up. Everybody in the chat showing up.
I feel like since it's draft week, all of the real ones are going to show up and show out.
Yeah, I think so, man. I think we're going to see Nathan Glass. We're going to see a bunch of different people. It's going to be really fun. Can't wait to spend draft week with all of you guys. It's going to be so much fun. And here is our Super Chat menu today in case you want to donate to the channel. It really does help us out. Without you guys and your donations, we do not have the privilege to talk Steelers football with you guys every single day for free here on YouTube. So really do appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. And if you can't Super Chat, that's absolutely okay, but we do love and appreciate everybody that can send in something. So any Super Chat today, you're going to get a shout out. Coop and I will react to whatever you have to say. If you have a question, I'll answer it, whatever the case may be.
As long as it's appropriate.
As long as it's appropriate, absolutely, Coop, okay? No swearing. And then we
no fucking swearing, you heard me?
$5 Super Chats we'll do. Here we go, Steelers. $20 Super Chats. You get your name on the Helmet Hall of Fame. That's starting to really tick up as well. It's filling up. There's not a whole lot of space on there anymore. And then $100 total on today's show gets you into Gold Club for life. You get a Super Chat sticker next to your Super Chats for life, and you get a shout out on every single show. Now, we've gotten so many Gold Club members here over the last several months here, past a year now at this point, that we can't show. I can't really spend, it seems like 5 minutes naming every single one of them, but I really do appreciate each and every single one of our Gold Club members.
We've grown so much.
You guys are the lifeblood of this channel, and like I said, guys, without the support of our community here, the best Steelers fan community on YouTube, we wouldn't be able to do what we do and do what we love every single day. So big shout out to all of our Gold Club members, and especially a big shout out to our Black Diamonds. These are the people that have put in $500 or more on a singular stream. These guys are the legends of Steelers Talk. Shout out to Sam Pugh, F1, and Nathan Glass, Kurgan Cole, who you guys just saw with that $69 super chat.
Very nice.
Very nice. And we got Go Blue Buckeye, Elliptic 6, Gwendolyn, Marilyn, Omar's Burner, Kyle King, who I saw in the chat earlier,
Yes,
and
sir.
KJ Live Life. Shout out to all of our Black Diamonds out there. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Okay, now I want to talk a little bit about liking the video, because that really is the easiest way to help us out. If you guys can't super chat, we completely understand. Not everybody has the money available to just give to somebody on YouTube.
We get it.
We get it. All right, but if you want to help out the channel, you want to be a true Yinzer today, all you got to do, click that thumbs up icon, click that subscribe button, do all the free stuff, all right, that costs you nothing to go do. So I really do appreciate you. We got 171 people watching, 55 likes. I want to get that up to 75 likes before we get into our first segment. So right now, type me in the chat. Type me in the chat if you have clicked that thumbs up icon. All right, I want to see who's in the chat. I see Kurgan Cole down there. I see David L.
The King as well.
I see the King. I see Joe. I see Pittsburgh fan 412, last week's MVP.
Yes, indeed.
I see Trey Roberson. Cassie Voth is here, my girlfriend. Everyone.
Cassie, I'm glad you're alive.
Mimic Tarsier is here. Mr. Deadhead is here. Mile High is here. We got Zion Peterson, Harry Cooper. Keep clicking that thumbs up icon. Keep clicking that subscribe button.
Kurgan says Browns suck. Always true, Kurgan.
Browns suck. That's always an acceptable sentence.
Absolutely.
Here. Absolutely, man. All right, so we're getting close here. We're at 71 likes. We need 4 more likes until we get into our first segment.
Fernando's here as well.
Fernando Martin, what's up, man? Let's go. It's draft week. You got to get all the big names in here, man.
Oh, yeah.
Fernando. I haven't seen Marilyn yet. I wonder if Marilyn's in here. Tennyson Gray is here. Chad is here. Souls Collection is here. Herb Matthews. Welcome into the show, everybody. It's going to be a good one here on Steelers Talk. We got to 78 likes. Thank you guys so much. Coming up in about a minute, I'm going to be going over the latest draft news and rumors surrounding your Pittsburgh Steelers. Then I'll get into my final round 1 draft targets, my final list of 20 players, all ranked. All right, so Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin said today at their press conference they're going to have a list of 20 players on their big board, and they're going to take the best player on that board when their pick comes up at number 20, okay? Unless they get an offer they can't refuse to trade down. And then I got my final mock draft, so I'm going to let you know my final projections for the Pittsburgh Steelers here in 2024. The draft season has been absolutely fantastic. It's our 9th mock draft. Can't wait to share that with you guys. But until then, let's get into these news and rumors. Coop, are we ready to get things going?
I think we are. I was just making sure. I thought I saw some crazy stuff in the chat, but we're all good to go, so no worries.
We're good to go. Let's
go.
get into this first segment right now, the latest draft news and rumors surrounding your Pittsburgh Steelers. Welcome into Steelers Talk. I am your host, Jack Sperry, and it is draft weeks, folks. I cannot wait to give you guys share with you guys all the great NFL draft content we got coming to you, not only today, but also throughout the week here at Steelers Talk. So make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. But on today's show, we got a loaded show of news and rumors to break down with you guys. First, once again, we're going to talk about Brandon Ayuk and whether or not a trade could be in the works for the Steelers to acquire the All-Pro wide receiver on draft night. Of course, that's Thursday night, just in case you weren't aware. Then we'll talk about the top draft target for the Pittsburgh Steelers, or reported top draft target, has been flagged by multiple NFL teams for injury concerns. We'll reveal who that is here coming up in just a little bit. Then also, Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin talked at their pre-draft press conference today, and they indicated that they might not be drafting a center. Could James Daniels be the answer for the Steelers at center heading into 2024? I'll react to that and give you my thoughts. Then also, ESPN has an interesting trade down idea for the Pittsburgh Steelers in round 1, and they came out with a brand new 7-round mock draft that we'll react to right here on Steelers Talk. So make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already to kick things off. And without further ado, man, go ahead and give me a follow on X or Instagram right now. I'm at Jack_Sperry on X and at sparedog.football on IG. I post on there daily. We're going to be giving you guys extensive coverage. I got my final NFL mock draft coming out on Thursday morning. So make sure if you want that additional Steelers and NFL content every single day, I'm at Jack_Sperry on X and sparedog.football on IG. So let's get into today's top story here. And once again, I know some of you are annoyed that I keep talking about Brandon Ayuk on this channel, but the rumors just don't go away here. And Ayuk posted on his Instagram story last Friday that there's going to be quote-unquote fireworks on draft day this year, indicating that he might be traded this Thursday night. So this is what he had to say. So that's actually Jaden Daniels, a projected number 2 pick in the photo there. They're good friends. They trained during the offseason. And he said, brother said we got 6 days and it's fireworks. All right, so people are taking this to mean Ayuk thinks he's going to get traded on draft night. Now, I'm just going to tell you this right now. I think a trade is unlikely when it comes to Brandon Ayuk. John Lynch, the San Francisco 49ers GM, took the podium today for their pre-draft press conference and says he wants Ayuk to be a 49er for life. All right, so I think it's really going to take a big-time deal in order to get Ayuk in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform. And I think what the Niners are going to want is something similar to the A.J. Brown trade a couple of seasons back, where the Tennessee Titans got a first-round pick, number 18 overall in that year's draft class, plus a third-round pick, number 101 overall, in exchange for A.J. Brown. And they're probably going to want something pretty commensurate here. Now, you can say Ayuk's not as good as A.J. Brown, but Ayuk is an all-pro wide receiver as we speak here today. And I think that's probably what's going to be the asking price for San Francisco here. I think they're going to want Pittsburgh's number 20 pick, no pick swap in round 1. I think they're going to want a straight-up trade for that first-round pick that the Pittsburgh Steelers have, and they're going to want the second, third-round draft pick that the Steelers have at number 98. All right, so that's what I think the San Francisco 49ers are going to want to do, but I'm not willing to do that, all right? And the reason for that is that the Steelers right now have 4 very big needs that they need to address, I should say, before the end of the 2024 NFL draft. They need to get a wide receiver, they need to get a center, they need to get an offensive tackle, and they need a cornerback. And right now you have 4 picks in the first 3 rounds. If you give up 2 of those picks for a wide receiver, that means that one of these huge needs is not going to get addressed. And that's not something I'm willing to do if I am Steelers GM Omar Khan. I want to fill all of these needs, and I love Brandon Ayuk as a player. I think he'd be a great fit here with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I am not willing to overpay. This is what I would offer the San Francisco 49ers right now if I were Omar Khan. I'm not going to give them the first-round pick straight up in any situation. If they want number 20 overall, I'd be fine with that as long as we get the pick swap with their pick at number 31. We'll give them a second-round pick in the 2025 NFL draft, and we will still throw in that third-round pick at number 98 overall. This would allow you to fill out the rest of your needs on your roster in this year's NFL draft while you're still trying to compete for a Super Bowl. But, that second-round pick next year I think is worth it, especially when you get a guy like Brandon Ayuk in your building who is an all-pro and is an excellent talent that you're adding to your roster. So let me know down there in the comments section. Would you accept this trade if you were Steelers GM Omar Khan? All right, let me know. Would you give up 2 picks this year to get Brandon Ayuk in your building? Type A for accept or D for decline. You guys know that I'm declining this offer, but let me know what you guys are doing for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time, but give me an A or a D down there in the comments. So now let's shift to Troy Fontenot out of Washington here, who I currently have as my number 1 draft target for the Pittsburgh Steelers, or at least reasonable draft target for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And according to Albert Breer, he has been flagged by some NFL teams for not checking out with his knee when it comes to the medical check. So there's some injury concerns with Fontenot. here late in the game, and that could lead to Fontenot falling down to the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 20. Now, before this news broke, I would have told you Fontenot is probably going in the top 15 at the very latest. Like, I think that he's going to be gone by pick number 20, and if the Steelers want him, they're going to have to trade up for him. But after this new revelation here, where some teams might be souring on Fontenot, especially in a very deep offensive tackle class, the chances that this guy, who I think would be a perfect fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers, is available at number 20 is increasingly more likely at this hour, which is definitely good news if you are a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And if he's there at number 20, I do think he's going to be the pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, coming up here, Omar Khan has said, and he keeps insisting, that the Steelers have options at the center position on the roster right now. Is he just bluffing? Are they going to take a center? Are they going to take a different kind of position? Are they just going to completely ignore the center position in the draft this year? I'm going to answer that question, let you know what I think here in just a second. But first, I want to tell you about today's sponsor at Game Time. Big shout out to Game Time because they are fastest and the easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. If you're someone like me, folks, that likes to get tickets last minute, Game Time is perfect for you because not only do they have the lowest price guarantee on all tickets to any event, but also they got flash deals right before your event starts. So the longer you wait to get your tickets, the lower the prices get. They also have a super easy to use interface. If you want to go see a Pittsburgh Pirates game, that's a really good idea. The Pirates are playing good baseball. PNC Park is a beautiful baseball stadium. I've been there myself. It's absolutely gorgeous. If you haven't been there this year, now is the time to get that done with the best and fastest growing ticketing app in the United States, and that is Game Time. And also, guys, another great thing about Game Time is that it's the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with every purchase of a ticket that you make. See the view from your seat before you buy them so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive at the ballpark, the stadium, the arena, whatever the case may be. And tickets are also sent directly to your phone instead of your email to just add another layer of consistency and fan reliability to their platform. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app and create an account and use code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps, for $20 off your purchase today. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So let's talk about the center position here because Steelers GM Omar Khan continues to insist that the Steelers have options at the center position and they don't feel, to quote Mike Tomlin, overly thirsty to get any position in this year's draft class. All right, so I don't, and a lot of Steelers fans listen to that and they're like, you know, Mike, I think we might be pretty thirsty for a center here. So some potential options here on the roster. Nate Herbig and James Daniels are the two guys that are kind of put out there the most, saying, you know, these guys could be a center for us. And then also Isaac Seumalo has experience, and then same thing with Spencer Anderson, but Anderson I don't really think is a starting option. Right now, I would say James Daniels is probably the best overall center option currently on the roster. But when it comes to the center position, my take on this is because you have guys like Daniels and Seumalo and Herbig that can play center, you don't have to take a center, but you better damn sure take an interior offensive lineman, all right? So if you're going to not draft a center, you better draft a guard to replace James Daniels as he moves from right guard over to center, all right? You cannot go throughout this draft and not take an interior lineman. It's absolutely a must for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think that they know that. They've met with a bunch of centers. They've met with a bunch of guards as well. So I don't think the Steelers are going to pigeonhole themselves here and say we have to take a center. I think they know they have James Daniels and some guys that they like at the center position already on the roster. So that gives them the leeway and the ability to take a guard if that's what's best for the team at the right time. Now, let's talk a little bit about a trade down scenario from ESPN, and Bill Barnwell, one of their lead NFL writers, has them trading down with the Dallas Cowboys, who currently hold the 24th overall pick. And I kind of like this trade down scenario for Pittsburgh because you're only moving down 4 spots, but you're picking up 2 additional draft picks here. A third rounder, pick number 37. That's definitely not right, I don't think. I think it's might be like 57. It says 37, so I don't think it's 37. I think it's a different number. I think it's 57. I must have put in 3. But then the 5th round pick at number 174. These are 2 picks, that could be very valuable for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have a lot of stuff that they would like to address, and I could absolutely see this trade potentially happening here because you're only moving down a couple of spots. If you want an offensive tackle, you can definitely still get one at number 24, but you also get 2 pretty darn good draft picks here to utilize later on in the draft that can end up being potential starters for you moving on down the line. Okay, so now let me know down there in the comments section, would you accept this trade down with the Dallas Cowboys? Give me a yes or give me a no down there in the comments section if you would accept this trade down from Dallas. Okay, now let's get into the 7-round mock draft reaction from Jordan Reed, one of their draft analysts there at ESPN, and he has some very interesting picks for the Pittsburgh Steelers here, and he's going to start things off here with a trade, okay? So he's going to have the Steelers move up in round 1 of the 2024 NFL Draft to number 16 with the Seattle Seahawks. So here is the details. You're moving up from 20 to 16, and you're giving up your first 3rd-round pick this year at number 84. So this is kind of a hefty price to move up to number 16. They better get a good player here is all I'm going to say, because this trade kind of stinks, all right? If you're going to be going and getting an offensive lineman, I definitely think one's going to be there at number 20. And like I said earlier, guys, you got 4 big needs: wide receiver, center, corner, and wide receiver. If you trade these 2 picks, that limits your ability to address all 4 of those needs. So I don't like this trade whatsoever, and I hate it even more because of the player they have the Steelers taking, and it's J.C. Latham out of Alabama. I don't even have Latham in my top 20 prospects for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, and this guy has the Steelers trading up for him. Now, Latham, he's a behemoth of a man, all right? He's huge. He can affect the line of scrimmage. On paper, it seems like a decent fit for the Steelers, but I do not think he has the athletic chops to stick on the outside as a tackle in the NFL against all these great speed rushers with great bend. I think he's more of a guard in the National Football League, and the Steelers would be drafting him to be a right tackle, which I think he would fail at. So I would give this a D because, yes, you're addressing a need here with J.C. Latham, but I think that he would end up being a bust, at least as a right tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you're giving up your 3rd-round draft capital to go out and get him. I think this is a terrible pick, D for me. Then in pick number 51 in round 2, Reed has the Steelers taking Roman Wilson, wide receiver out of Michigan. I like this one. I like Roman as a player, really good route runner, 4.39 speed, reliable hands, and he has an established relationship with Mike Tomlin. Wouldn't be surprised at all if Wilson's the pick at 51. Then in round 3, we address center here with Cedric Van Pran, and I'm going to give this an A. I think he's an excellent fit. He moves really well for a guy his size. Now, he needs to work a little bit on the play strength a little bit if he's going to be reliable one-on-one in pass protection, but I think he's going to be just fine transitioning into a starting role from day one. I like this pick a lot. Then in round 4, pick number 119, DJ James out of Auburn. I'll give this one a B. I like the physical talent that James brings to the table, but he's super small and he's 170 pounds. I'm just not sure if that kind of physical profile is going to work out in the league. Maybe he's more of a slot guy. Overall, good player, sticky in coverage, great athletic profile. So in round 4, I think this is a decent value. Then in round 6, pick number 178, Frank Lovett Sr., nose tackle out of Florida State. Now, I like Lovett as a nose tackle. I think that, he's never going to be like a true 3-down lineman, and he's not going to provide any value for you in terms of pass rush. But if you need a true run stuffer and you want Keanu Benton to kind of be that heir apparent at the 3 technique to Cam Hayward, Lovett Sr. is a pretty good pick here. I'll give it a B. And then a good pick here in round 6 at 195, Javon Solomon from Troy. Really a big fan of Solomon. He is a top 100 player on the Pro Football Focus big board. He led the FBS in sacks last year. He's got a great physical profile. And if you're getting this guy in round 6, that is an absolute steal. I think he's going to probably go late day 2, if not early day 3. If you're getting him this late in the draft, that's a steal to add to your edge rusher ranks. This one's an A+ for me. Now, be honest with me down there in the comments section. What do you grade this ESPN 7-round mock draft? Because I think outside of the first pick, a lot of these picks actually work out really well for the Steelers, but you do have that first pick where you're trading up for a guy that I wouldn't even take at number 20. Let me know, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know how you're feeling down there in the comments. For me, I'll give it a B-, all right? I'm going to be salty about that J.C. Latham pick for a long time if this actually happens. I get that some people are higher on him because he's so big and he's got the physical tools that you look for, but I think he's a guard, and I think that the Steelers are set at guard right now, all right? So unless you're getting him to play guard, I'd still not like it because you're trading up for him. So, I don't love that move to trade up, but all the other picks are really, really good. So I'll give this a B- because as a whole, it is a good draft class that they have put together. That'll be it for today's show, guys. I appreciate you. If you want to get some more content from me leading up to the NFL draft here for the Steelers and the NFL as a whole, you can check me out at Jack_Sperry on X and at SpareDog.football on Instagram. And you can also catch me on our live coverage on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel. Every single pick live on the Chat Sports YouTube channel. It's going to be me and Tom Downey. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you want live coverage of every single pick of this year's NFL draft, make sure you click that subscribe button right now for the Chat Sports main channel. And then also make sure you click the subscribe button to this channel because we got daily and extensive Steelers coverage 24/7, 365. We get a video out to you guys every single day. So if you want to become an expert on the Pittsburgh Steelers, don't wait. Click that subscribe button right now. All right, 1 down, 2 to go. That was a beast. That was a beast of a segment. How long was that piece?
It was about 16 minutes.
That's it?
We've got some super chats to catch up on, though.
Really?
A lot of them.
I wasn't even looking at the super chats. All right.
So here's Kurgan.
Kurgan with a $1 super chat.
This was a sticker.
I mean, if he like typed that out, that would have been funny.
And then this one's another one from Kurgan. Let's go.
I couldn't agree more, Kurgan.
Spam nice.
Everybody spam nice in the chat.
Kurgan says the Browns should wear their new scratch and sniff uniform. Is he talking about the all-white ones?
No, he's talking about. Well, he's just talking about like their general jerseys.
Oh, because they're ass.
Because they're brown.
And they're ass.
Yes, they're
yeah.
They're brown and they come from an ass.
I'm with you there, Kurgan. I get you.
We got another one here?
Another one from Kurgan.
Jeez, Kurgan is on a roll today, man.
He's on a roll.
Is he going to make a second black diamond today?
He might.
Goodness gracious.
He says, I think back how bleak midseason last year was. Now they are positioned for a run. Steelers could win the AFC, man.
Steelers could win the whole damn thing next year, man.
We might be in New Orleans.
I believe in Russell Wilson that much, all right? I do. I think that the situation that he's coming into here is the best situation he's had since he was competing for Super Bowls with Seattle. And I don't think he's that far off from like where he was during his winning days in Seattle. Like, you got a great defense that you can lean on, a great run game, in my opinion, that you can lean on, an offensive coordinator that hopefully knows what he's doing in Arthur Smith. You're gonna get at least another receiving weapon, at some point. You got a good tight end. You got a great head coach. Like, this reminds me so much of, the Legion of Boom days for him, because it's not like Russell Wilson was like the best quarterback in football when that team was dominating the league, right? Russell Wilson was just clutch in the fourth quarter. He hit the deep shots when he was asked to do that off of play action, and that's exactly what he's going to be asked to do here. Plus, he has all the playoff experience that you could ask for, and he beat Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes last year with a worse team in the Denver Broncos. So I have all the faith in the world that Russ is going to get it done, and Kurgan Cold is excited about it too, man.
Don't forget the Browns paid $230 million guaranteed dollars to Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson stinks.
Just don't forget that.
He stinks.
He stinks.
Just like that trade up for J.C. Latham. That stinks.
If they did that, I would be pissed.
I would actually be pissed if they traded up for Latham. Like, if you like Latham, I'm not trying to trash you or anything, but like, personally, I would hate that. I wouldn't like it if they stayed put at 20 and took him. I would still be a little bit upset if they traded down and got him.
No, I think if they took him at 20, I'd be okay with that.
But here's the thing, man. Like, I just don't think he's a tackle. Like, speed rushers are going to eat him alive because he's so big.
Yeah,
he can't get out there.
Fair enough.
So, like, speed rushers are just going to kill him. But as a guard, I think with that size and that ability to move the line of scrimmage, I think he'll be good as a guard. But the Steelers don't need one of those. They need a right tackle or a left tackle. I don't really care which, but you need a true tackle, and I just don't see Latham as that player.
Fair enough.
But, I mean, they did have a pro day dinner with him. They went to his pro day. He didn't get a top 30 visit, though. So, like, I am a little bit worried that Latham is on their radar. Really hope not, though, personally. I would be very upset if they took J.C. Latham in round 1, personally.
If they draft J.C. Latham in round 1, are you just going to start the cut with, well, shit?
I might. I might just start it with Cheeks.
Cheeks! I would be okay with J.C. Latham, honestly. Also, why do we have a Broncos fan in here? What are you doing, kid? You guys have Zach Wilson and Jared Stidham competing for QB. That's the luck!
This is what I'll say, Mile High. We appreciate you tuning into the show today, but thanks for footing the bill. $37 million for Russell Wilson.
You are paying
thank you
for
so
our
much.
Quarterback.
You are paying for our quarterback, so we really do appreciate Broncos country for allowing us to have Russell Wilson for practically free of charge. All right, so thank you so much. Oh my goodness.
All right, you ready?
Yes, I am ready. Here we go. Steelers round 1 draft targets coming at you right now. Welcome into Steelers Talk. I'm your host, Jack Sperry, and today I am breaking down my official round 1 draft targets for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I got all of my top guys, and then we're going to finish up today's show with my final top 20 big board for the Pittsburgh Steelers that I would have if I were Steelers GM Omar Khan. Before we get into today's action, make sure you click that thumbs up icon if you are as pumped for the draft as we are here at Chat Sports. We have been working tirelessly around the clock getting ready for our extensive coverage of the 2024 NFL Draft. Really do appreciate all of your support. So if you want to help this video do the best that it can, all you got to do is click that thumbs up icon right now. All right, so now we're going to be talking about 3 tiers of players, and we're going to be talking about 12 players total that I think could be taken in round 1 that also had a top 30 visit, all right? Because Omar Khan keeps stressing the importance of top 30 visits, and I just don't really see the Steelers really drafting somebody that they didn't bring in on a top 30 visit, okay? So we got 4 players in each tier here. 4 players I'd be thrilled with, 4 players I'd be fine with, and then 4 players I'd be disappointed with. So let's start with the thrilled tier. Number 1 for me is Troy Fontenot out of Washington. All right, this guy's got versatility, positional versatility. He can play center, he can play guard, he can play tackle on both sides. And right now, that's actually not the right player 5, Coop. Just go to the next one, yeah. So Troy Fontenot out of Washington. I have him ranked as my number 3 offensive tackle in this class. He's actually fantastic. The arm length is what you look for at over 34-inch arms, the pass protection, the technique, the balance, the hand placement, the intelligence. It's all beautiful on film, and I love watching him pass protect. All right, and also you got that versatility. So if you want to play him at center, I think he could play center. He's got the athleticism to do that. Now, the cons, the size at 6'4", 317 pounds, not exactly the biggest guy in the world at the position. So, could he struggle a little bit against true bull rushes in the league? Sure. All right, and then also the injury concerns. A couple of teams flagged him for a knee injury concerns here, so it's definitely possible that Fontenot might have some knee issues heading into the league, but I do have a true round 1 grade on him, and if Fontenot falls to number 20, I think that he's going to be the pick. And with this new development, with his knee and all this different stuff around injury concerns with him, I definitely think it's possible that he is sitting there at number 20. And the Pittsburgh Steelers definitely have a history of taking guys with this kind of injury history. We saw it last year with Darnell Washington and Corey Trice Jr. It wouldn't shock me at all if Fontenot's high on their board, and if he's there at 20, he ends up being the pick. Now, shout out your guy down there in the comments section. Who do you want the Steelers to take in round 1? Who are you hoping falls to number 20 for the Pittsburgh Steelers within reason here, all right? So this is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time. But let me know who you want the Steelers to take in round 1. I think the number 2 guy that I think will most likely be available at number 20, and I'd be thrilled to get, is Amarius Mims out of Georgia. Now, the big knock on him is that he just didn't really play a whole lot of college football, right? We all know how stacked that Georgia roster is, and it wasn't really until this last year where Mims really got an opportunity to start, and then he got hurt, all right? So he had to wait a long time to even get on the field, and then when he got his opportunity, he got hurt, and he didn't play a whole lot this past year, so he just doesn't have a lot of film. But here's the thing, guys. When you watch that film, as a little number as it is, it's awesome, all right? He is an awesome player. He's got incredible athleticism, great size, arm length. When you watch him on film, and this goes back to even 2 seasons ago when he had an opportunity to play in the college football playoff, he looked fantastic. Absolutely just dominating people in the run game, shutting guys down in pass protection. This guy looks like a starting right tackle in the league already on film. Now, you're going to have to get over that he didn't play a whole lot, and that's a small sample size. But man, this guy is a fantastic prospect. I would trust him to be the Steelers' day 1 right tackle, and I'd be thrilled to have Amarius Mims on this football team. Number 3, Talise Fuanga from Oregon State. He might be a guard. He needs to prove that he can really handle the speed and bend of NFL pass rushers off the edge. But he's got good technique relatively. He's a mauler in the run game. I think that the Steelers would love to have Fuanga as a true menacing run-blocking right tackle. They had moved Broderick Jones over to the left side if Fuanga is the pick. Now, is he going to be here at number 20? I think there's a lot of teams that really like Fuanga's game. Cough, cough, Los Angeles Chargers, so we'll see what they end up doing. But I would love Fuanga here as the Pittsburgh Steelers right tackle. I'd be thrilled to have him. So now now you guys might notice here that my top 3 guys are offensive tackles. Now, why is that? Why don't I have a center? Why don't I have a corner? Why don't I have a wide receiver? Plain and simply, guys, I think finding a day 1 starter at offensive tackle is essential for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year because I don't trust Dan Moore Jr. anymore. I mean, we've given him a bunch of opportunities. He hasn't lived up to it. I think that he's going to be a good swing tackle, but if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm looking for a starting offensive tackle that I can plug and play right away, and those 3 guys that I just listed, I trust to do that. But if you can't get those top 3 guys, you can go ahead and get Graham Barton out of Duke to be your next center. Now, Barton has played tackle there at Duke, and he's been a pretty good college tackle, but the arm length and a couple different factors here I think is going to limit his ability to play tackle at the next level. Most people think he's going to be an interior offensive lineman. He has experience playing guard and center, and I do think if you draft him at number 20, I'd be super happy to have him as the next center of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's super athletic, really fluid. He plays with great awareness, and he's also really strong too. So you're not going to be able to bully him with a bull rush and get to the quarterback. I really like this guy's game, and he's the only center prospect that I would be thrilled to get at number 20. I think he's a perfect fit for Arthur Smith's run scheme because you need a center that can move and get to the second level. Barton does all that exceptionally well, so I would love to have Barton as the pick at number 20. Now coming up here, some less desirable draft targets that the Steelers have talked to throughout this process here. I'll get into the prospects I'd be fine with and then the prospects I'd be disappointed with here coming up. But before we get into that, I want to tell you about today's sponsor at Fanatics. And if you want to own a piece of Steelers draft history today, go to chatsports.com/DH24 to get an official Steelers draft hat, officially licensed by the National Football League right now. Again, chatsports.com/DH24. Got to say, guys, I like the design this year with the gray and then the yellow on there. It's very industrial, very blue collar, in my opinion. That definitely fits the vibe of Pittsburgh and the blue collar nature of this city. So you can go chatsports.com/DH24. I'll put the link to that in the comments and description so you can let Fanatics know that we sent you. So now I got 4 players and the players I'd be fine with, starting with Cooper DeJean out of Iowa. The one need that you could really say that the Steelers desperately need right now, in my opinion, is slot cornerback because you've got Dante Jackson and you've got Joey Porter Jr., and, that's fine. But you need 3 corners in the modern NFL, and right now the Steelers don't have one. Chandon Sullivan left in free agency, right? Same thing with Elijah Riley. So you need a slot corner, and I think Cooper DeJean would be an excellent day 1 starting corner in the slot. So if the Steelers are looking to fill that right away, I think DeJean is definitely a dark horse here. Now, I would rather get an offensive lineman, whether that be the 4 guys we mentioned in my thrilled category or somebody else. But, I look at DeJean, and I think that he's got a really good profile here as a slot corner that can absolutely wreck football games. And I do think that this is a gaping need for the Pittsburgh Steelers that they just don't have an answer for right now. They're going to have to find an answer for it at some point in the draft or free agency after the draft. And right here, DeJean, I think, would plug that hole right away. Then I'll go to Ladd McConkey, the wide receiver out of Georgia. I'd be fine with a wide receiver. And along with McConkey, I'd be fine with A.D. Mitchell out of Texas, as well as Xavier Legette out of South Carolina. I think that all of these guys are really good players. And this is definitely a team that needs another big-time wide receiver. I think all 3 of these guys fit that bill, can be legit number 2 receivers to George Pickens' number 1 this year. And you can kind of combine the talents of these guys with Pickens to form one of the best young wide receiver duos in football. So, yes, I would rather have an offensive lineman, but if they took a high-end wide receiver, I wouldn't be too sad about it. But I would probably save it for later. All right, there's a lot of really good wide receivers in this class that fit what you want to do. So in my opinion, take the offensive lineman in round 1, save wide receiver for round 2 or round 3. Now, for more content from me on social media, you can find me at Jack_Sperry on X or at SpareDog.football on IG. I post on there every single day. My final NFL mock draft will be on my Twitter and Instagram Thursday morning before the NFL draft. So if you want that content, again, I'm at Jack_Sperry on X and at SpareDog.football on Instagram. Definitely appreciate all of your support. So now, the guys that I'd be disappointed in here, we'll go to Nate Wiggins, at cornerback out of Clemson. I'm not sure if he's ready to be a dominant corner in the league right away. Now, maybe I wouldn't be like super disappointed in this pick, but I definitely think there's better options than Nate Wiggins. He's really skinny. He's not super physical. And I think that he's a better fit in more of like the Fangio off-coverage style of defenses as opposed to the Steelers that run a lot of man, a lot of press. He doesn't have the longest arms in the world, so he's just not a fantastic fit, in my opinion, here at the Steelers, and I'd be relatively disappointed if Wiggins is the pick. Number 10, Jackson Powers-Johnson out of Oregon. He's got concussion issues, guys. I love the player, but he's not the best athlete in the world. Super strong player, can move people at the line of scrimmage, but you really have to be able to move, and you have to get off really quickly in an Arthur Smith system. Not sure if Jackson Powers-Johnson really fits that bill, and I'm not actually sure he's the best fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers as opposed to guys like Graham Barton or Cedric Van Pran or somebody else that moves a lot better than Jackson Powers-Johnson does. And then when you add on to the fact that he's got the concussion issues in the past at that position where you're getting your head hit on every play, I'd be pretty disappointed if Jackson Powers-Johnson ends up being the pick for the Steelers because of all the risk you take on with him. Then at number 11, I'd be disappointed with Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. Now, I get that some people are higher on Guyton because he's got long arms and he's a great athlete and, he's a big body and he looks like an all-pro caliber tackle in the National Football League. Here's the rub, though. The Steelers need somebody that can play right away. Guyton isn't that guy. He lost so many reps in the one-on-ones at the Senior Bowl. His balance is all over the place. The hand placement is all over the place. He's going to have to take a year before he is ready to be like a good starting tackle. Steelers need one right now. Tyler Guyton is not that guy, in my opinion, and if you take him and you start him, I think you're going to have a big hole in your offensive line. And then number 12, Zach Frazier. I have a round 3 grade on him. Love the tenacity, love the intelligence, love the technique, but the athleticism leaves something to be desired, and then the overall play strength, just because of how small he is, I'm sorry, man, he's a round 3 guy. I think he's a day 1 starting center, but because he doesn't have the mass that you look for and the athleticism you look for in this type of run scheme, I would rather take him in round 3 as opposed to the round 1 buzz that he's been receiving. Now, some honorable mentions here. These are players that have not gotten top 30 visits with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I will mention that the Alabama guys had dinner with the Steelers before their pro day, which Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan both attended. Okay, so that doesn't mean that they're not going to be picked. But J.C. Latham, I'd be very disappointed if he was the pick. Byron Murphy, I think there's bigger needs than defensive tackle in round 1, even though he's a great player. I'd be fine with Terrion Arnold or Kool-Aid McKinstry as well. Now, let me know down there in the comments section, Who would you be upset with if the Pittsburgh Steelers took them in round 1? I'd be upset with a number of players. Tyler Guyton, J.C. Latham, a bunch of these players that I don't think are ready to be starting tackles in the league. I'd be disappointed with those guys. But let me know down there in the comments section how you're feeling. So now let's get to my Steelers big board without further ado here. Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin, they're going to have a list of 20 players on their desk on draft night. And one of those players, whoever's the highest on their board, is going to be the pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 20. So listen, man, first couple names on this list are not happening, all right? But I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be at the top of their list. Would be a fantastic add to this offense. Same thing with Rome Odunze out of Washington. There's been some trade-up rumors with the Steelers connecting to Rome. They met with him formally at the Combine, but I don't see the Steelers trading up for a wide receiver, and that includes Malik Neighbors, who I have at number 3. If any of these guys fell to you at 20, they'd be the pick, but they're not, but you got to put them on the board. Number 4, Joe Alt out of Notre Dame, offensive tackle. Number 1 offensive tackle on my board. He's fantastic, but like the 3 receivers above him, definitely not going to get past the top 10. Then we go to Troy Fontenot, our first guy that could actually fall to the Steelers at number 20. I love Fontenot's game. I think he can play all 5 offensive line positions with great tenacity, intelligence, and technique. He's a great athlete, which fits this run scheme that Arthur Smith wants to run. I think Fontenot's a perfect fit, and because he's had some injury flags here from some teams in the NFL, he may be falling to the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 20. Then we get to Amarius Mims at number 6. You guys know how I feel about Mims. I would feel comfortable starting him at right tackle to start his career week 1 in the NFL. Number 7, Grant Barton. Like I said, guys, great athlete, great overall fit for what the Steelers want to do along the interior here. I would be thrilled to have Grant Barton as the next center of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then Talise Fuwanga, there at number 8. I would take Barton over Fuwanga just because Fuwanga has some question marks in terms of his pass protection, particularly against speed rushers, but I do like the overall profile, and I wouldn't mind it whatsoever if Fuwanga is the pick at number 20. Then Quinyon Mitchell is my top corner. If you're not going to get one of those top offensive linemen, they don't fall to you, and Quinyon Mitchell does, I think pairing him up with Joey Porter Jr. would make one of, if not the best cornerback duo in football. Then we get to Terrion Arnold at number 10. A Bama product here. Really like his game, can play in the slot. So if you want to play him in the slot right away and then move him outside whenever he's ready, I think that'd be a really, really good fit. So if all these tackles are off the board by pick number 20 and Arnold is still sitting there, which I expect him to be, I think the Steelers could pull the trigger for Terrion Arnold. But if Arnold's not there, then you get Cooper DeJean, who they've brought in for a top 30 visit. They met with him twice at the Combine. They definitely have shown a lot of interest in DeJean. And I think specifically as like a Swiss Army knife chess piece on defense that can play in the slot, can play safety, can play a little bit of outside corner. And if he puts on some weight, he might even be able to play a little bit of hybrid linebacker, all right? So he's super instinctual, great football player, and he's a number 11 on my board. Then Alu Fashanu, and the reason why Fashanu is a little bit lower on my board personally is because he's not a great run blocker, all right? He's a fantastic pass protector, which is great, but the Steelers want their offensive line to be mauling run blockers, right? They want to prioritize the run game in this offense. Fashanu doesn't really fit that bill, so there's other players I would take ahead of him, but I like his game overall, so if he's sitting here and all the top 11 guys are off the board, Fashanu would be my choice. Then we get a run of wide receivers here. Adonai Mitchell out of Texas and Ladd McConkey, number 13 and number 14 overall. Probably unlikely that you get down the board this much on night 1, but if all these guys are taken by pick number 20, a wide receiver here does make sense. Number 15, Kool-Aid McKinstry. Reason why Kool-Aid's a little bit lower is because he doesn't have the slot versatility that Cooper DeJean and Terrion Arnold bring to the table. So if it's going to be just an outside corner, I'd probably put him a little bit lower on my big board. Same thing goes for Nate Wiggins out of Clemson. High upside, but really, guys, I'm not sure if he's a great fit for what the Pittsburgh Steelers want to do here. Number 17, Xavier Legette out of South Carolina. He reminds me a lot of A.J. Brown. I think that Arthur Smith is going to have him very, very high on the Steelers draft board. And if he's there in round 2, I expect him to be the pick at number 51 and maybe even a little bit of a trade up to go get him if he falls into round 2. Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU is number 18. I don't love the motor in terms of run blocking with him, but he's definitely a deep threat down the field. And with a guy like Russell Wilson, that is definitely something that could be of value. My final 2 picks here, I've got some defensive tackles, Byron Murphy and Jerzon Newton. You're not going into round 1 expecting these 2 guys to be at the top of your board by pick number 20. But if it does happen, defensive tackle, these guys would definitely be the best players on the board at that point if all 18 other players are off your board at that point. Now, off my board entirely, guys like J.C. Latham out of Alabama, who I see as an offensive guard. I do not think that he is somebody that can handle edge rushers, speed rushers in the NFL. Same thing with Tyler Guyton, who I think is more of a developmental player. Jordan Morgan, he's fine, but I'm not picking him at number 20. Jackson Powers-Johnson has the concussion issues, and Zach Frazier, I don't think has the build of a round 1 center in the National Football League. That'll be it for today's show, guys. I know it was a little bit of a longer one today. It was a little bit of a beast, but thank you guys so much for sticking with me here to the very end. Make sure you click that subscribe button right now because tomorrow is my final Steelers mock draft of the 2024 draft season. All right, 2 down, 1 to go, Mr. Coop. Who do you want? Well, I think we already talked about this earlier in the show, didn't we?
Fatanu, baby.
Fano, I would love him. And I actually think there's a decent chance that he's going to make it there.
That'd be crazy, man.
And if he's not there, I have a very good feeling Mims will be.
Yeah, I think I'd be happy with either Mims or
So if you go by my board, okay, you would have Fontenot at 5 and then Mims at 6. I feel like one of those guys will be there at number 20. Just based on the mock drafts that I've done over the last several weeks and where I think players are going to end up going, I have a good feeling Mims is going to be available at 20. I think the big question is going to end up being, is Fontenot available at 20? I think it's probably going to be either one of those 2, but it could be Graham Barton as well. Graham Barton is a really good player, and like I said, I'd be thrilled to have Barton. Oh, my goodness. Dominic Schrader says, please no Mims. I'm sorry, man.
Might happen.
The stars are aligning for Amarius Mims. Tomlin and Khan both went to his pro day, top 30 visit, pro day dinner, formal combine meeting. They have met with him every step of the way.
Hang on, I'm getting a call. Oh, what's that? Marvin Harrison Jr.? Oh, his character is terrible? He's going to fall to 20? Oh, okay, cool. The Steelers will take him. Sorry, that was just one of my sources.
Marv is number 1 on my list because if he's there at 20, you're taking him.
Oh, yeah.
But there's 0% chance that he's there. And honestly, I'm not even trading up for him just because you have 4 needs, and what it would take to trade up to get a guy like Marv is just too much.
Marvin Harrison Jr. could commit a felony between now and Thursday, and I'm not sure he would go number 20.
I mean, look at Jalen Carter.
That's what I'm saying.
He killed a guy last year, and he went in the top 10.
He did.
And he's a hell of a player.
He's a great player. He's not Steelers culture, though. All right. Final mock draft.
All right, man. Final mock draft coming your way. Can't wait to share with you. Can't make any changes. This is it, unless they make a trade or something tomorrow, and then I'll probably update it for Wednesday. But unless something crazy happens, this will be my final Steelers mock draft of the year coming up right now. Can't wait to share with you guys. Coop, are we ready to go? All right, let me take one more drink here. So Tamsin Hurd says, Jack, I want to answer this question. Jack, serious question. How have you got Mims as offensive tackle number 3 from 7 starts? So number 3 for the Steelers specifically, because I think he's a perfect fit for what the Steelers want. 7 starts in college, but by the way, those 7 starts, excellent film. Excellent. If he would have put together a whole season of that film, and by the way, he played 2 games in the college football playoff against some of the best teams in football, in college football, and he was dominating these guys. Ohio State, all right? Like TCU, like he was dominating these guys. And he was doing it as somebody that was inexperienced. From a pure physical standpoint and from a tape standpoint, he's fantastic. He might be the best tackle in this entire class. That is not an overstatement. He is awesome. So yes, he's green. He's only had 7 starts. But in that time, it looks like an NFL right tackle. So, I'm not going to get into the weeds here about, it's only 7 starts. I think that he's got plenty of experience, especially when he's shown on film he can do the job. That's what you want from these prospects, all right? So, if anything, he's got tread on the tires, Coop.
Yes, he does.
He hasn't played a lot, which means he can play
He's
more
fresh.
in the league.
You're talking me into Mims.
And it's like, yes, he's had the one injury. All right, he's had one injury. People talk about him like he's injury prone when he just didn't play his first couple seasons at Georgia because it was so stacked of a roster. And then the 1 year where he gets a chance to be the starter, of course, that's the year where he's dealing with injuries. All right, but it doesn't mean that he himself is injury prone. I keep hearing that one out there as well. So I don't agree with that. I think Mims would be a fantastic pick for this football team. I would trust him to be the day one starting right tackle. I don't care how many starts you've had in college. If you can play the position and play it well, and I think he can, I think he's going to be really freaking good in this league, man. All right, let's get into this mock draft now. Really do appreciate everybody's support. We got 200 Yinzers watching around the world live. We got one more segment coming at you, and it's my final Steelers mock draft. Let's get into it. It is my final Steelers mock draft of the 2024 NFL draft season. It is our 9th 7-round mock draft here on the channel. So thank you to everybody that's watched all 9 of our mock drafts. But tomorrow, the Steelers will take hopefully somebody in the first round to kind of bolster this roster with Russell Wilson, with all the players that they got on defense. This is a team that I think is ready to win now, and I cannot wait to see what they're going to do at pick number 20. So coming up here, I got my picks. My final picks, but make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now to never miss a pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to have extensive breaking news coverage for you guys for free here on the channel every time the Steelers make a draft pick, all right? So if you want instant scouting reports, all this different stuff, and you want to know these guys as they get drafted as the next class of the Pittsburgh Steelers rookie class here, make sure you click that subscribe button to never miss a pick. So first, let's start with a trade, okay? Because I can't guarantee you that the Steelers are going to trade up or down or stay put, but I think it would be a good idea for the Steelers to trade down with the Dallas Cowboys. And it's not pick number 37, all right? So this is something we discussed earlier. I think it's pick number 57. So keep that in mind, guys. You get a 3rd-round pick from Dallas, you get a 5th-round pick from Dallas, and you only move down 4 spots, which I think would allow the Pittsburgh Steelers to still take an offensive lineman, and you pick up a couple of additional picks here to really help themselves out and really round out this draft class to help this team win, not only now, but also in the future. Now, let me know down there in the comments section and predict it. What will Pittsburgh do round 1 of the 2024 NFL draft? Type U if you think they're going to trade up. Type S if you think they're going to stay put. Or type D if you think they're going to trade down. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. So let's start with who I think is probably going to be there at number 24. I think it's going to be Amarius Mims, offensive tackle out of Georgia. Now, I know some people are really scared off by the injuries that he had last year, mixed with the fact that he only has 7 college starts. But based on what I've seen on his film, those 7 starts, which, by the way, 2 of them were in the college football playoff, he was dominant. He has excellent athleticism on the edge to handle the speed. He's got the size to handle the bull rush. He's got the technique both with his footwork and his hand placement, and he's a mauling run blocker, man. I am a big believer in Amarius Mims, and we know the Steelers love these Georgia tackles. They just traded up for Broderick Jones just last year to go out and get a guy from this program, which is a winning program. So I absolutely believe in Amarius Mims as the starting right tackle of the Pittsburgh Steelers heading into week 1 of the 2024 season. Move Broderick Jones back over to the left side. I think he's going to be absolutely fantastic. And if he's here at number 24, that is probably the guy I'm pulling the trigger for. So coming up here, rounds 2 through 7 in my final Steelers mock draft to share with you guys. Some very interesting picks coming your way here in just a couple of seconds. But before we get into that, I want to talk about today's sponsor at Game Time. Big shout out to Game Time for being the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. PNC Park for the Pittsburgh Pirates has been voted the #1 ballpark in America. And right now the Pirates are playing their best baseball that they've had in probably decades at this point. All right, so if you want to see the Pirates play some winning baseball at PNC, you can do that right now with our friends at Game Time, where they have the lowest price guarantee, so you don't have to shop around on all these different ticketing apps. We know how annoying and time-consuming that can be. With Game Time, it's guaranteed, so you don't have to worry about it. And if you're like me and you like to wait till the last minute to get tickets, Game Time rewards you by giving you guys flash deals right before game time, so you get even lower ticket prices the closer you get to the event. Game Time is the fastest growing ticketing app in the United States of America for a reason, and is the only ticketing app on the market today that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive at the stadium, the arena, the concert venue, whatever the case may be. And tickets are also sent directly to your phone. Another great feature, instead of your email, which just adds another level of consistency and user-friendliness to their platform. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So I've been kind of riding the Ricky Pearsall train for quite a while now, and I just think he's an awesome fit for what the Pittsburgh Steelers want out of a number 2 wide receiver. Right? You just lost an elite route runner in Deontay Johnson, trading him away for Dante Jackson and, pick swap for the Carolina Panthers. You need a number 2 receiver. Van Jefferson is not going to get that done. Calvin Austin III, not going to get that done. Ricky Pearsall dominated the Senior Bowl this year. Super crisp route runner, a great short area quickness, good 40 time this year, and he's a dog as a run blocker. Can play on the outside and on the inside. He brings the whole package for what the Pittsburgh Steelers are looking for in their number 2 receiver. He's a good enough route runner to take Deontay Johnson's spot as the true route running threat in this offense. And he's got really reliable hands, which is something that, of course, all receivers need to have in the National Football League. I'm a big fan of Pearsall. I think he's going to fit right in with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if he's here at number 51, I think he has a good chance of wearing black and gold next year. Then we get into round 3, and I'm going to take a guard here. Mason McCormick out of South Dakota State, one of the best guards in this year's class. I have a round 2 grade on McCormick, so if you're getting him in round 3, that's an absolute steal. And listen, man, because you have James Daniels and you got some players that can move to center if need be, Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin don't have to feel pigeonholed to take a center that doesn't fit with their system. And right now you can get a guy in Mason McCormick who's got excellent athleticism to play the wide zone run scheme. He's got great play strength and a really good anchor to protect against the bull rush from interior pass rushers, and he plays with great awareness. So I think he's ready to play right away, and James Daniels was arguably the top center in his class coming out a few years back. I think you can move him right back to center, and I think that he could be excellent in that role for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then we get into pick number 87 here. This is from the Dallas Cowboys here. Renardo Green from Florida State. I think is an absolutely fantastic man coverage corner. All right, he played more press man than any other corner in college football these past 2 years, and he's the only guy on film that I've really seen stick with Malik Nabers, who is going to be a top 5 pick this year, consistently throughout an entire game. Malik Nabers is a disgusting route runner. Okay, he's excellent at that. Renardo Green kept up with him for an entire game. That's somebody that I think can play right away in the league on the outside. He's a little bit smaller, a little bit slender, needs to put on a little bit of poundage, but I believe Renardo Green could be an elite number 2 corner next to Joey Porter Jr.'s elite number 1 status as a lockdown number 1 corner in this league. Then also in round 3, we'll go a double dip on the kind of the defensive backs here. Tyke Smith out of Georgia, our second Georgia Bulldog in this mock draft. Tyke Smith is my number 1 safety in this class, guys. He's fantastic. He's got 4.4 speed, so you can put him at free safety if you want. He's got a big enough frame to play in the box. And he's also excellent as a slot defender, which is exactly what the Pittsburgh Steelers need right now on their defense. You got Dante Jackson on the outside. You've got Joey Porter Jr. on the outside. Now you need somebody on the inside to really lock down the nickel. And we know how much Mike Tomlin loves the nickel cornerback position. Tyke Smith was the best nickel defender in college football in 2023. I think you plug him right into that role. He's got the versatility to play other spots if there's injuries. I think that this is an absolute steal here at pick number 98 if Smith is still available. So before we get into day 3 picks here, I got some interesting sleepers for you guys to keep your eyes on. Make sure you click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already. If you're as pumped up for the 2024 NFL Draft as I am and we are here at Chat Sports, really do appreciate all of your support. Then at pick 119, Mason Smith. When you look at Mason Smith on film, the physical body type looks like Chris Jones from Kansas City. All right, so that is arguably the best defensive tackle in football, and he moves like him too. Now, the technical refinement definitely needs to get a lot better. The tape is definitely shaky for Smith his last year there at LSU, but he's got the physical tools that you look for. We know how much Mike Tomlin cherishes those physical tools, specifically along the trenches. So Mason Smith has been getting a lot of attention from the Steelers this year. They've been really keeping a close eye on him. And if he makes it here to 119, and I think there's a chance he does, I think he's going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Then we get to pick number 174 in round 5. I'm going to go Cedric Gray, one of my favorite sleepers in this class at inside linebacker. He currently ranks 4th on my list of inside linebacker players in this year's class. I think that I have a round 4 grade on him. So I really like Gray. I think he's a future starter in this league. And if you're getting a guy here where you don't know if Cole Holcomb is going to be able to be back 100% next year, I think Cedric Gray is somebody that did NFL linebacker type things in college, which you don't see every day. He's got a really good physical profile. I don't get what's not to like about Cedric Gray. I think he's a fantastic prospect. And if he falls here to 174, I think the Steelers should take him. Then at 178, another pick from the Dallas Cowboys here. I'm going to take Jalen Coker, wide receiver out of Holy Cross. I love Coker's game. He's big, 6'3". So, he's got the size that you look for to be a really good run-blocking type wide receiver, but he's also got the quicks and the long speed to really survive as a potential starter in the National Football League here with some development. And I think that's what you're bringing him here to do. In future years, you're probably hoping Coker can become a legitimate starter for your offense moving forward. And then a final pick here in my mock, Christian Boyd out of UNI. I've been in love with Boyd ever since I first laid eyes on him at the Shrine Bowl practices here in Frisco, Texas. Absolutely dominated some of the best interior offensive linemen in the country. And I think people are sleeping on him because he went to UNI, right, Northern Iowa, all these different things. But he's a physical freak. He plays with really heavy hands. And I think if you're looking for somebody to put on the other side of Keanu Benson when Cam Hayward eventually leaves, I think Christian Boyd is one hell of a player and can develop into a bona fide starter at a 6th-round value. I think this is the ultimate sleeper pick. Now, here's my final mock draft haul for your Pittsburgh Steelers. Let me know what you're thinking down there in the comments section. I got Amarius Mims in round 1, Ricky Pearsall in round 2, Mason McCormick, Renardo Green here in round 3, Mason Smith, and then we also got Tyke Smith. I forgot Tyke Smith out of Georgia, also in round 3. Mason Smith from LSU, Cedric Gray out of North Carolina, Jalen Coker from Holy Cross, and then Christian Boyd. So just keep in mind, Tyke Smith out of Georgia is also on this list. So grade it for me, A, B, C, D, or F down there in the comments section. And if you want more NFL draft content from me on my Twitter or Instagram, I'm at Jack_Sperry and at SpareDog.football on Instagram. Really do appreciate your support. And make sure you guys click that subscribe button for our Chat Sports main YouTube channel, because me and Tom Downey, we're going to be doing our live coverage of the NFL Draft for Chat Sports here over the next several days. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to be covering every single pick live here on YouTube. So if you want extensive coverage of these picks when they happen here on YouTube, make sure you click that subscribe button and join Tom Downey and I tomorrow night for the start of the 2024 NFL Draft. Make sure you click that subscribe button to this channel as well if you haven't already. Really do appreciate all of your support. And until next time, here we go, Steelers. All right. Kurgan called with a $20 super chat. Times three?
Times 3.
Is he just sending in these characters? Like
yeah.
these...
Kurgan's having himself a day. Let me tell you
Kurgan is going off in this one, folks. Let's go. I know he didn't put in a 69, but let's put in those.
He put in multiple 69s earlier.
Let's put those nices in the chat, folks. Let's put those nices in the chat.
Well, the hooting and the hollering's over. Draft week is here.
Draft week is here. I feel like Amarius Mims is probably the most likely player to get drafted by the Steelers this week. If you disagree with me on Mims, I'm fine with that. But like, I think that if you're getting caught up in how many games a player started, and you're not looking at the product that he put on the field in those games, in my opinion, you might not be looking at the right thing.
True.
I think that he's an incredible player. As long as the medical stuff checks out from his injuries from last year, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't take him in round 1, especially if you need someone that can play right away, which he can, and he's got the physical profile to be right up there with Joe Alt as the best tackle in this class. Like, he is that good of a player, folks. Like, he is fantastic. He's not undersized. Like, it's not like he's like J.C. Latham or Fuwongo where he has trouble getting out on the edge. Like, he is the complete package at the tackle position, at the position that the Steelers need, right tackle. So it's like, if you're somebody that cares about how many games a guy played, fine, that's your prerogative. But for me, man, I care about the kind of football player you are, and Amarius Mims is one hell of a football player. I'd love to have him, man. Be fantastic.
All right, Jackie. I say we get out of here. We have other stuff to do here at Chatty Sports today before we head on out.
True that, my friend. All right, that's going to be it for today's show, guys. We really do appreciate everybody that tuned into today's show. Thursday, we are going live for pick number 20. So make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Turn on your notifications so you know exactly when we go live on Thursday, because it's going to be a bit of a fluid situation.
We'll see exactly when.
Yeah, because like I said, I'm gonna be on our live coverage for Chat Sports. So it's gonna be really fluid as to when they get me off of that and all that. But make sure you click that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't have to worry about that. That'll be it for us today, guys. We'll see you guys Thursday for our live coverage of round 1 of the 2024 NFL Draft. And until then,